Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing this video after so long, my recommendations and what I am consuming in books, media, etc. So if you are someone who is interested in book recommendations or music recommendations or movies recommendations, so please stay tuned. I post videos randomly, but I am trying to keep a pace in this channel. I'm trying to be consistent on this channel. So I'll be posting more videos in upcoming weeks and uh, maybe once or twice in a week. So please stay tuned and yeah, let's go. Before moving to my recommendations, I want to point out this one thing about book reading is that I consume books not based on the speediness of how fast I can complete this book or how I want to complete this particular title. So this particular title, which is by Fyodor Dostoevsky, is a title I picked it because I saw a lot of buzzing words around his work, and on social media, especially on Bookstagram and Book Talk, it is highly prevalent that if certain book is put on a mark, then it will be popularized, it will be marketed heavily to the point that consumers are, even if they are not willing to read the book, they are going to read the title because it is very trending or on demand. Of course there are exceptions, but yeah. So my reason is almost the same, but again there are certain exceptions here why I picked White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. First of all, because it talked about loneliness, I guess, because what I was looking on the big carousel posts or the bookstagrammers I was following who are talking about this book, they all talked about the character's misery, how it is being portrayed, and how this is Fyodor Dostoevsky's first work and is not much of, hold much of an importance because maybe because of the use of language or his hold on the language while writing this book was not as great as his other pressing books. But this one particular is a very short read, but also tells the psyche of an individual who is somehow resemble the same mindset of young adults in this generation, including me, of course. And I'm not going to share the details of it, but yeah, somehow I got a little bit interested in reading this book. The dream for him that happened, but yeah, somehow it got mixed up a little. So yeah, this book here, for Fyodor Dostoevsky's White Nights, I enjoyed it. There are certain criticisms around this book, but if you're someone who likes to pick a title randomly and just want to enjoy a short read or just a short, you know, very standardized, usual, um, heartbreaking romance novel, maybe this can be an option for you. But again, I'm not going to term it as a romance novel because it certainly does not only talks about love, it also talks about human loneliness, miseries, and others complex emotions in it. So yeah, this is it for this book. So let's talk about the second title, which is A Quiet Life by Kenza Buroi. This is how it looks. So there is a story behind why I picked this book. So I was visiting a library, Japan Foundation Library. So there I was looking for some slow reads, especially the ones, if you have read the Japanese literature, you know how even in how they portray a certain character's life, so ordinary, but also has some elements that keeps you hooked, right? So like just like it's about a certain period of time in their lives, and they make it so uniquely and redefine the emotions and etc, all these elements into 1 hour movie or novel. It just makes you feel like, yeah, it keeps you emotionally invested, makes you feel so many emotions all together. So I may not be able to explain it appropriately about the Japanese literature or say media, but Yeah, I was looking for such titles only where I can feel at peace, where my anxiety doesn't cripple up, but something that suits my nervous system. So yeah, I was looking for the titles, and Kenzaburo Oe was the writer who had most of his work displayed in the library. So I found this one title, A Quiet Life and The Thief, um, and one more title. And of all of them, the main cover was the focus point of the cover was all about him winning the Nobel uh, Prize for Literature in 1994. So yeah, that fascinated me. I realized that he is a big deal. Of course, the writer who has uh, wants Nobel Prize in Literature must have something to tell in his stories. So most of his works are more or less autobiographical or more like a memoir. But this one also is close to a memoir, but is fiction, of course. Some of the elements has been taken from his life as he was right his most of his works, but this one is a little bit more on a mellow side. So I was confused between which to choose, the thief or this one. So, but since my objective was already clear to find a slow read, this one fit perfectly fine with my requirement. So talking about this book, what it is and how much I have read till now. So I have managed to read only 15 to 16 pages of this book. Why? Because I was juggling between two books, this White Knight and this one, and and of course, I like slow reading. So, about this book, A Quiet Life, it's a blend of real with the imagined. I mean, of course, as I mentioned that the writer himself includes most of the parts from his life, like his experiences, whatever he fears of, etc., etc. So this is also a resemblance of his personal life. So as a fiction, this conveys a very strong and upholds a very strong narrative about nuclear family, about a girl child as an eldest girl, um, which has its backdrop in 90s Japan, I guess. So around that time, Japan was already has been developed and was developing in terms of various tackling various traditional stigmas around girl child, etc. So in as I am progressing to read this book, I am finding out more about the protagonist and about her family. So I will not assume about the novel, and will will share a comprehensive, a very detailed video on this book, maybe a review on this book, short maybe, or short or maybe detailed review on this book if I finish it on time. But as I'm going forward with this book, I don't want to assume anything further, because like in my to my like I have an experience of assuming the plots, assuming the story of books that I start to read, and when I finish the book, it never goes with what I have expected from the book. So of course, not in a disappointing way, but it's more of like, yeah, wow, like this can also happen. So yeah, we'll not assume much about this book as well, and we'll keep you updated if you guys are interested in this book. So of course I will make a detailed video. If not, whatever you like, just drop a comment. So moving on to my next recommendations on songs, what I am listening, what I am obsessed with. So right now I'm listening to songs on loop. First one is Ain't It Fun by Paramore. I think it's an indie band. I have not looked much into the band, what they do or etc. But it's a fun song. It's about growing up, doing all the adult things, and the singer says, and it's fun that you have to do all things alone. You are free on your own. You don't have to answer it to anyone, etc., etc. It's more or less like all these lyrics are somewhat related to this, but it's a satirical, you can say. It's like, um, of course you are on your own now, you don't have to answer it to anyone, etc., but isn't it fun, etc. So it's rhetorical in a way. And yeah, I have listened to the to another tracks from the same album, but I haven't found much of an you know like feeling like I can groove on it. But yeah, this one is very good. I found this recommendation on Twitter from one mutual, and her comment was that listening to this while we are like while she's adulting, she's doing all the adult things, does makes a lot of sense here. So my next recommendation for a song is Stop the Rain by Tableau and RM. It's a feature by RM of BTS, and Tableau is a member of hip hop trio called Epic High. They're also really very good. They write very meaningful lyrics and they produce very good songs if you want to listen to it. So this one, Stop the Rain, is it talks about certain intense emotions about you unaliving yourself, you feeling like you unaliving yourself, being in your 20s, ending up in your 20s, the sadness, the depression, the anxiety of holding on to too much of an trauma and then releasing it one by one into your 20s, etc., etc. There are several interpretation of this song, several interpretation of the lyrics based on the it is written based on the artist, both of the artist experiences. For the music starts with Tableau's lyrics, and he talks about his own experiences as uh, him growing up, being in 20s, and then becoming an artist, and him facing all the trials he has to and in his life, and then switches to RM's lyrics, where he talks about him not making up to a 27, him feeling like he belongs to a 27 club where he cannot make past 27 years of an age, but he somehow manages to do it. And if you want to know the extended emotion of him as an artist, you can go and listen to Indigo, where he talks about life is worth living and he will prove it. And so yeah, these are the songs that are very meaningful to listen. And second of all, it resonated with my ongoing emotions and ongoing whatever I'm feeling right now. So yeah, these are the two songs that feels like very vibey, very peaceful. And also, Stop the Rain was released when it was raining in here, so it fit perfectly with the vibe, and it became so nostalgic already for me. Moving on, for my movie recommendation, as I am not watching dramas consistently right now due to some business, but yeah, so let's talk about the movie. So let's talk about my movie recommendations. So recently I have watched two movies. One is The Worst Person in the World, and the second is Love in the Big City. Both of them are much contrasting. It's your about young adults and them growing out into a very beautiful, having holding a very beautiful life as an adult, and them turning to 30, etc. But also very opposite, as first one is a movie set in France. Of course, it's a movie made in France, so it resonates much to a audience who lives in uh, these nations where there are flexibility of exploring your um, career, exploring your identity, etc. But the is a movie that is based in South Korea, where which is an Asian, which has an Asian background. Of course, there are no limitations here, but there are certain limitations based on their traditional beliefs, etc. So I'll talk about the first movie, which is The Worst Person in the World, as the title suggests. Um, movie is the movie talks about a protagonist who is female, and as per the societal benchmark of being a good person, she's nothing like that, or a good person or an ideal person. She is nothing like that, and she is very here and there, don't know what her career path is, continues to explore different ways to find out what she wants to do, what she really wants to feel interested in, etc. And then she worries a lot about her future, but forgets to live in the present where things are going right. So that this is the story about her, this is the story about her decisions, and how after being in a twisted love relationship, she gets out of it and then find out what her real life is, what her real desires are. So of course, learning from your experiences, learning from your mistakes, that's how it is portrayed, which is very ideal, given that movies are made not to portray a perfect person, but to portray a person who is making mistakes, especially a woman, where she is labeled with several responsibilities. She is being forced with several responsibilities, labeled by age, factors, labeled and is restricted because of her desires and all everything. But here she explores all of that, and there is a certain stigma of turning 30 and achieving most of the things in your life, being settled, almost settled, like achieving so many things that are that constitutes you as an adult. But here she don't have any of such achievements, and that's what makes this movie it's like an ideal uh, cinema. For anyone who wants to consume a young adult a movie or a story that reflects a real and unique storyline. So of course there are not every movie is perfect here as well. uh, it lacks some or the other things, but if you want to enjoy movie that captures the beauty, the life of a woman who is turning 30, who is exploring her career path, etc., and is making a lot of mistakes and is almost um, being labeled as a worst person in the world. It's not like in the movie they any of the supporting characters blame her for that, but the feeling that comes with it, as you do not qualify with all the uh, things that makes you an ideal person or a good person or anything, like the society has made you believe in it. So it's more of like breaking that belief. So let's talk about my second recommendation in movie, and also the last one from in this video. So the second movie that I watched recently is Love in the Big City. It's a South Korean movie and has Kim Go Yoon and No Song Hyun as actors who has played characters in the movie. So this movie is adapted from the novel called, of the same title, by Sang Young Park. So this novel has two adaptations. One is film that I'm going to talk about, and another is an extended series, Netflix series, I guess, that you can also watch. But since I have consumed only watched only the movie, so I'll talk about the movie segment of this novel adaptation. So this movie, it's romance comedy, LGBTQ, has LGBTQ representation. So this one character who is gay but is not open to it, because of course in South Korean society there is still a stigma to it to be open as any of the LGBT, to belong to any of the LGBTQ category. It's a very sweet, fun, loving story where two characters, one is Kim Go Yoon and Na Sung Yoon, they become friends because of their similar traits of not being able to adapt to the situation which feels alien to them, and they figure out their relationships, they figure out their life as a 20 year something, and then by turning 30 or something they eventually get settled in their lives based on their own requirements. That's not like following the traditional path, but in their own ways. And this is what this is what movie is about. So that's it for this recommendation um, video. I So this is it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed all the recommendations that I've shared in this um, video. And if you have if you watched any of the movies, if you listened to any of the songs, or read any of the titles, do let me know in the comments. And if you're someone who didn't know anything about all these recommendations I have shared, you also comment in the comment section and tell me if you're going to read it, listen to it, or watch any of the movies that I have recommended. So that was it for this video, and I hope that any of the that I have shared, the recommendations, you're going to consume it, or if not, whatever, let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's it for today. Bye bye.